Students here, I welcome you all to the Bridge Course 2021 Disha, which has been running from the last couple of weeks and displaying some real good results. And I believe the objective that what we have mentioned about this particular program has been successfully achieved, and thanks to all the students out there for taking the best advantage of this. Uh, Prithviraj sir, just to give you an overview, we are from the Trisha group of institutions from India, which we have the campuses located in Udupi, Mangalore, and Bangalore. So we have three campuses and a total strength of around 5,000 students. We have 7 institutes under us. And this program is exclusively for those students who have recently written their foundation examination of the chartered accountancy, and they're expecting their results in next couple of weeks, and they would be geared up for the next level of chartered accountancy, which is their inter. So as a protocol or as a tradition that we follow here, and generally we try to prepare them well in advance before the results itself, so that they are eagerly kind of motivated and they're geared up to get into get into the next level of the CA intermediate course. So I have with me around 250 students plus. Of course, you could see some of them here, but some of them are directly linked through our own intranet, which is a Trishaplus website. They are viewing us. Some of them are using the Zoom credentials here. Almost 250 plus students who would be appearing, who have appeared for the CA Foundation, and also who would be appearing for the intermediate courses. So this bridge course is a combination of the academic and non-academic interactions. Well, I said the academic, there were a few sessions on costing, income tax, and all that. At the same time, we ensured that there are best of the best speakers, which we made them available to them, who spoke on a very generalistic and also at the same time, which is real matter of importance. Like, for example, somebody from corporate was here who spoke on the corporate challenges, what that CA should actually look into it, and somebody spoke on the motivation. There's so many things. So today we are speaking on Atmanirbhar, Bharat. So these are the also some of the important topics that these students have to be well versed with. So students, that's Prithviraj. So that's a background I gave about the institute and the students. So students, today I have a very good friend of mine who is directly reporting from Meghalaya. He's a good friend of mine from Assam, and he's currently into one of the most important assignment with the government of India, and he is live with us from Meghalaya. And I would take the privilege of introducing him to the gathering. Prithviraj Barma is the founder and the managing director of Prithviraj Consulting Private Limited, the first policy research and the consulting firm in Northeast India, and the most promising private think tank startup. So he's born and brought up from Assam. And if I talk about his education, he is a postgraduate in marketing and international business from IFIM Business School, which is one of the most reputed school in Bangalore, which is AACSB accredited. And I'm very closely associated with that particular school. And if I'm also right, it was very recently named as a Jagdish Sheth Business School, in honor of one of the most,
Yes.
the management guru, Jagdish Sheth. I think that's a great honor IFIM would give to him. He's also completed his
Yes.
certificate in management, communication, and quantitative methods and spreadsheets, and very related courses from HBSP, which is Harvard University from USA. He had a great interest. He has a great interest in a lot of research. So he has published a lot of research papers in the reputed journals. And to his basket, there are a lot of recognition as well. He's been awarded the best all-round performance for 2 years by IFIM Business School in Bangalore. He was also been awarded MBA Scholars Award by IDFC First Bank in 2018. And a badge of open source leader Commonwealth 100 by the Common Purpose United Kingdom 2018. And he was also invited for Global Illicit Trade Summit 2018, Abu Dhabi 2018 by the global media house The Economist. A lot of certification in his kitty, and now he is all set to contribute to the projects associated with the government of India. Students, my sincere request to all of you, post this session, I would also request you to, get into Sir's website, prithvirajbarma.in. I would share that website to all of you at the end. Very, very informative articles, very, very informative information that he has displayed in his, the website, which is so enriching. I spent enough time since the day I got connected with him, by reading a lot of his articles. It's really, really worth. So end of this session, I would definitely share his website. I would definitely want all of you to have a glance at his website. So All right. So, on behalf of the management of Trisha Group of Institution, my staffs and my students, I extend a hearty welcome to Prithviraj. Thank you so much, Prithviraj, for accepting the invitation, and I'm really happy and honored to have you amongst us. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, presenting to you Prithviraj Brahma. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. It was a long introduction, but really means a lot. Yeah. And other than that, I just want to disclose, first of all, before I begin, that I'll be speaking completely in my personal capacity,
Yeah.
and it should not be considered as someone engaged with Government of India
No.
or of that sort of. Yeah. So the topic itself is very interesting. Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's like we are trying to reclaim the Bharat nature of India again. And I mean it to 100% when I say trying to reclaim Bharat. So first of all, there is a big confusion when we say Atmanirbhar Bharat. The first confusion is people and scholars are often confused. Does it mean being a self-reliant India or being a self-sufficient India? So to clarify my personal understanding, being closely attached with policy works here, is I think Atmanirbhar Bharat is neither being a self-reliant India or being a self-sufficient, but it's the whole journey from being self-reliant to self-sufficient. Because at the capacity that we have today in our country, with all the GDP and everything considered, we are still not at the position to call ourselves a self-sufficient nation. For lot many things, we still have to deal and engage with lot many other countries, including China. So even though in political terms we keep on saying ki we are now capable of going to that extent, but practically we still need to stand together. And that's why I said Atmanirbhar Bharat when I say it simply means the whole journey from being self-reliant to self-sufficient. And right now we are still trying to be self-reliant. And now coming to the actual package, the campaign Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat accounts to approximately 11% of the gross national domestic product of ours. So it's approximately 11% of GDP, which means approximately 420 US dollar. Now, the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign was launched in three different phases. The phase one was total of $280 billion, and Atmanirbhar Bharat 2 was $10 billion, and Atmanirbhar Bharat 3 note was approximately $37 billion. So it has a lot to do with economy. And why I'm saying this again and again is that because the whole focus, like I said, we are still trying to be self-reliant. All of these finances that we're talking about, approximately 20 lakh crore, that was in big debate, is it really happening or not? It has a different wings and pillars on which the whole policy or the campaign was launched. Now, if we talk about the pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat, there are a lot many debates and discussion happening on what are the basis on which and what are the areas on which the whole campaign is being fused towards to. In regards to policy reformation or in regards to policy works, all I can say is Atmanirbhar Bharat was constructed on the basis of these five pillars. The five pillars here are, first of all, the economic restructuring of the whole country. Secondly was the whole system restructuring. Third was the infrastructure restructuring. Fourth was the vibrant demography. We all know the demography of India. And fifth and last was to meet the demand gap of the whole nation. So the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign was launched on the basis of these five major pillars. And if you can see, we are actually reaching, maybe not to the extent that we can call Atmanirbhar Bharat is going to be one of the most successful campaigns yet, but we are progressing a lot. And the results are already visible as of now. Now, if you see, before going to the next topic of mine, I just have a brief statistics that I want to share with you. When the whole world was in crisis, India was still producing PPE, and we are the second largest country to produce PPE. And now, 2021, the whole world is relying on the vaccines that's produced by India. All of this have been the part of the whole restructuring of the nation, and that happened through Atmanirbhar Bharat, a bigger mission. Now, another thing is we also launched the 5G network completely for the nation, and it happened not by any other foreign companies, but by our own
Yeah.
Reliance Geo network. Now, why this digitalization amidst uh, such a pandemic was important was we ourselves need to be Atmanirbhar first of all to make the nation Atmanirbhar. Now, I'm here in Meghalaya, in the deepest corner of Meghalaya, and due to so many bandwidth issue, I'm not even able to share network with you. So, in order to talk to you, I have to be Atmanirbhar first of all. And to make all of us Atmanirbhar, yeah, all of us Atmanirbhar, the digitalization aspect, the proper internet was a much requirement. And
Right.
India aggressively went ahead with that. And thanks to Reliance Industries Limited, that they successfully launched a 5G networks across the country.
True.
I mean, there is a lot of debate that Reliance is controlling government or something like that. Let's not focus on who is controlling who. Let's focus on what the common people are achieving and getting from out of it. Now, India was one of the only country, in fact, which launched such a aggressive, what do you call that, initiative. I must say it's an initiative only, the rollout of the 5G. And all of these are done by Indian companies. Tech Mahindra has promised that they can actually deliver 5G network across India. Now we're not talking about any foreign tech companies like Huawei or anything as such. We're talking about our own Indian companies out there. So it's one of the Atmanirbhar that I must talk about. Also, also if you see there are different kind of programs that are coming in one after one. And if you see the recent FDIs, it has increased quite large in defense sector areas as well. Now, why I specifically mention FDI is because whenever we say India is trying to be self-reliant, there is a misconception or idea among people and scholars or economists that does mean we do everything by our own. It doesn't exactly mean like that. I mean, it need not be meaning like that. If it has to mean like that, I must say Swadeshi movement long back, decades ago, was the first Atmanirbhar campaign.
True.
So yeah. So when we are Atmanirbhar, we do not exactly mean we'll stop everything from outside sources and we'll outsource everything from within itself. It also means we may take help if required from outside sources and still propagate or promote our own homegrown companies or any kind of as such. And to make it happen, happen, the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat was divided and prioritized to different sectors. Now, in terms of priority, the first priority was given to the banking sector, the RBI measures, because approximately 24% of the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign package was given for the reformation of this banking. Because, why banking was important was because lot many people lost jobs, and lot many corporations were actually in a stage to die off. And if this kind of measures would not have been taken, probably India would have not only gone to minus, but we have gone to some minus 1,000 level of GDP. To be very practically honest about it. So Atmanirbhar Bharat strike at such a crucial point of time when we were just about to reach below the breaking point to sustain ourselves, and then we came up again. So the whole approximately 24% of the Atmanirbhar campaign went towards the banking reformation or support to the banking industry. Approximately 20% was given to state. So state borrowing was increased up to 5% of the state domestic product. And then the third priority was given to business SMEs. Fourth was given to education, then social sector, protection, health, etc., etc., etc. So the whole campaign did not only mean about one particular area, like I said. So just like I mentioned just now, the whole thing was divided into different sectors, and it was prioritized accordingly on the basis of what was the most urgent requirement of the nation at that point of time when the campaign was launched. And it's still happening, and there must be a lot many other reforms that may come up. Now, that whole topic or the discussion has question mark in it. I found it very interesting. Thank you, Professor, for putting up a question mark in that. Because until now, I have been talking about the success and the positive aspect of it. Now, coming to a bit of challenge or a critical analysis of the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, what it missed, what majorly it missed, and what India have been missing since a long time is regular is decentralizing the regulatory reformation or bringing a regulatory reformation. Now, if you see India as of now, we have approximately 63 million enterprises, and more than 70% of these enterprises are still in dwarf condition. If anyone can guess what might be the reason why millions of enterprises are still in dwarf condition, I'll answer you to that. It's because of the compliance waivers. India is the only country where we have 16,230 compliances to follow. And I'm talking about compliance because henceforth, post this discussion, and in few months, you all will be enrolling to a CA program, probably building some of the best CA firms out there. So you need to know what's going on in regards to compliance. India is the only country where we have 69,233 compliances, 66 6,618 filings, and 1,536 X. And this is the only reason why more than 63 million enterprises are still in dwarf condition. So somewhere somehow we still need to recall and we need to question the policymakers out there and make them rethink if there could be a decentralization of the whole compliance universe out there. Now another thing that I want to talk to you regarding this is just a second. Yeah. In India, if you're aware of it, if you're already aware and if you're not aware, let me tell you. For the the punishment for not complying with some of the compliance that we have could land you to jail up to 2 years. And the punishment for some of the most important needed actions that to be done for uh, heinous crime like rape also do not get resolved within 2 years. So if you compare, it's way too brutal. It's way too brutal, and I may be wrong if I should even compare it, but I just want to give you a clarity of the depth that is required as of now. Imagine you forget to file a particular compliance, and then you'll end up to a jail for 2 years. And at the same time, there is a case pending on a rape case that is still not got justice for for more than 2 years. Now, if you ask to the government, where is your focus going towards to? This question itself will lend you to 1,000 different questions. And that's why I've been saying, and many people on this current date have been saying the policy reform should give an eye towards the regulatory aspects of these compliances as well. Because if we have to be really Atmanirbhar, then it's not only the big multinational companies, home-based multinational companies like Reliance that needs to grow, but it's the 63 million enterprises that needs to grow up. So this is one of the challenging question and question mark that we have today in our discussion today. Considering all the positive acts on one side and putting the question mark on other side, if we really have to get an answer to the question mark that we have in today's discussion, I believe it's the reformation of the compliance universe that we have in India. Because unless and until these 63 million enterprises grow, there won't be any Atmanirbhar in real sense. So I rest my case here. So I think we should be open for discussion henceforth. Is there any question as of now? Because I really love interacting.
Yes, students, if you have any questions, because as I said, the speakers are always allowed to take questions and interact, you could drop into the chat box options over there, uh, either direct to me or directly to the speaker. It's better if you put it to me and I can put forward it across to the speaker who can address those questions individually. Meanwhile, there's one question from one of the student. I don't know whether it's
Yes,
too
sir.
early to ask this, but yeah, he says, "What are your predictions on the possible economic scenarios post-pandemic?"
Okay. Okay, I won't be able to give you the figures exactly, but all I can say is we are not going back down.
Mhm.
The Indian economy is not going back down. And if you see the first cycle of 2021 itself, the first quarter estimations and projections, we are already going above zero. So we were already reaching minus 23, and if we have come up to even level of zero at this point of time, I think that's huge progress. Because if you compare across the globe, like see, the problem in India we have is we have so many liberal thinker and economists who keep on questioning the negative aspect of Indian policies. Now, India with such a huge populations out there, it's really not easy for any countries with smaller population and compare with those economies. So all I can say is we are not down, and lot many things are coming up. Like I said again, if the reformation could be immediately on the compliance universe, probably the 63 million enterprises could also do some wonders out there. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Okay, there's one more. Is it possible to produce raw materials in India because we are heavily dependent on China for the raw materials? Okay, you didn't specify what exactly the raw materials you meant. But what I understand from the question is probably he's meant that for any production that happens in India, the basic raw materials are imported from rest of the part of the world. So, what's your take on this? I mean, can we be self-resilient in this matter also?
Yeah. I was keeping the part for the later part of discussion, but I'll start it now.
Yeah.
See, the problem in India is not absolutely about having a lack of resources in terms of raw materials. It's about a lack of expertise that we have among our youths out there. Now, we have millions of graduates coming out every year, but how many of these are skilled enough to run this uh, manufacturing plant or whatever you say in all different areas? It's really a big challenge for us. Now, again, now because this question has already come up, I just want to add up another point. The problem in India is the lack of expert graduates out there coming out every year. So that's one aspect why probably NEP also came up. So we can discuss that part on the later part. Any more question?
Okay. I would hold that question for a while. Yes, and I thought this question would definitely come in. This a typical student question. The concern is very right. Let us say they're all in the first years now, so which means they'll be graduating after 2 years. So yes, how this Atmanirbhar Bharat or how we as a student should prepare ourselves for this, the most upcoming challenges in the next 2 years.
Okay, you as a student for coming 2 years now. Before answering that question, estimations for such a long term when pandemic has not yet ended is really not positive. So what we can plan is probably the short term. When I say
Right.
short term, let's take for this year, for this financial year, if you have to take about, and you are not yet graduating. So what you can do is you can engage in learning lot many different skills that will probably help you in adding value to your CV and adding value to your whole profile. When I say learning different skills, it should when you are engaged in CA, it should not only be the focus of the chartered accountant programs that you should be enrolled of. You should also enroll for different many programs, and lot many programs are available out there free, of course, online. Probably Trisha is also doing a lot of it. So you should engage and you should prepare yourself for a multilateral approach towards job. If job is the question mark that you have, so if you have a single variation towards job, then I think that's where people end up in misery. So you need to really have multilateral approach. So the thing is, if you're in CA, you should adapt yourself to the digitalization. Probably you should look forward to having a CA firm which will run completely virtual. A lot many such startups are coming up. Now, if you think of, yeah, if you think of being a CA and then starting your own CA firm, sitting in your office out there waiting for clients, I think that's a nuisance kind of dream you can have right now at this stage of the world. What you can do is probably you can move to completely digital. So these are the things that you need to adapt yourself with. And coming 2 years, you're still yet to graduate. So
Correct.
all I can say is you prepare yourself so that you can start something like that, because digitalization is staying for a long time and it's the new future. We already know. We are even having the meeting here, so this is one of the example of that. So yeah, engaged in learning different skills and digitalization is one of the most important here.
Mhm. There is one question on the ongoing crisis with respect to the agriculture industry. Probably he meant on the farmers and all that. So could we have something similar approaches of Atmanirbhar for the farmers of our country?
Okay. Yeah. In fact, don't take it politically, but even
Correct.
before the farmers bill was launched, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the first slot of Atmanirbhar Bharat already had a special categorization or the prioritized section towards farmer. Let me tell you the figure. Yeah, so 16% of total 20 lakh crore rupees corpus fund was allocated towards agriculture only. Now there is a misconception with this Mandi wala thing and the farmers bill and all that. I won't comment on that part, but yeah, there are a lot many subsidized programs being run even by state governments in most of the states. I must say more than 20 states across India, wherein state government have been promoting micro food processing unit in agriculture sector so that farmers producer organizations become self-reliant. Now the problem is we have a mass of people who do not understand a lot many things. We have a section of people who do not want to understand first of all, and we have third section of people who just want to debate on this two section,
True.
and the fourth section never know what happens. So the being the upcoming graduates at such a crucial time of our country, I think the whole mindset towards also be towards trying to understand what is the reality behind the face of the media and everything that is happening. So coming to Atmanirbhar, this related to farmers, if I can say, there are programs like Sampada under the central ministry already, wherein crores of rupees are already sanctioned to farmers organization to go for food processing units and all that. And there are sites like kishanmitar.in which have been launched exclusively for farmers. Let me give you an example. Say you belong to Karnataka state and you found two indigenous fruits or flowers that could probably lead you to different products out there. And you have already understood that with your presumptions. Upload the same list of names at kishanmethod.in, an initiative by some professors from IIM Bangalore and Government of India. Upload there, they will do the judgment. They will share the same with ICAR. They will do the research. If they find that the product, there can be a marketable product out of that indigenous fruit or flower, whatever, they will themselves help you. There are a lot many companies who are already associated with Kishan Mitter. They will do the mass outsourcing of those products out there. So there are so many things happening for farmers, but no one is talking on that part. So that's why I said Atmanirbhar Bharat is already having a lot of things. 16% of 20 lakh crore is not a joke. You just need that the proper communication needs to reach out to the people to apply. And first of all, people need to be ready. Again, digital reliance is also very important right now. Most of the farmers are not digitally reliant. So that is also one very important aspect. And I think someone somewhere should take a serious consideration on making farmers digitally reliant as well, so that they can connect with the actual platforms out there and like help each other and help nation ultimately. It's a good question. Yeah, I hope I answered.
Definitely. I have a question again. So,
Yeah.
do you think that American MNCs company like Amazon and Apple and other companies would become hindrance to this dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Oh, interesting question. And quite okay. uh it will be wrong if we say like a hindrance, because we like I said, we cannot call ourselves self-sufficient. I said it in the beginning of the discussion itself, because I know somewhere somehow this kind of questions will come. So we are still not in the capacity as an economy to call ourselves self-sufficient. So to check out Amazon, if we consider them as hindrance, we need to have another Amazon coming in from India. And the question is, who will take up this? So to go up to that level, until our own firms or startups or whatever come up to that position, we probably need to keep on them. Because imagine government of India suddenly bans Amazon from India. It's you, it's all of us who will be shouting to Indian government, why have you done this job? So I think it's not a hindrance. In fact, they are helping a lot. At
Correct.
times when thousands were getting job cuts and out, these foreign companies were the one who were still keeping people engaged, and
Absolutely.
they have already started mass recruitment, and we are earning a lot of revenue from them. So as long as their earnings help us in being a self-reliant, I think we should not consider it as hindrance, especially to the few selected ones like Amazon. Of course, we should try to stop, and we should really think of having a compliance which will not allow mass entry of such foreign companies. But a few like Imagine and all, I think they are not a hindrance. In fact, they're helping us.
Perfectly. I think that was the right answer that I expected too. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
There's a question here, sir. Can you
yeah.
explain what is Dedicated Freight Corridor, DFC? How it will help in Atmanirbhar Bharat? I don't know whether.
Uh, I think I'm not much comfortable to answer on that part. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
All right. Dedicated freight corridor. Okay, probably more into the logistics and supply chain. All right. The
Yes.
couple of questions, if I can summarize on what exactly they meant was uh, the students are also interested to pursue entrepreneurship, business. So one of them is asking
Yeah.
your views to me. to become a future entrepreneur, considering all the situation which is happening around right now, and that probably that going to come in the coming days? So, what is your message to the budding entrepreneurs?
Okay. Entrepreneurship is the future of India. Hmm. Now, why I'm saying it's the future of India? The Atmanirbhar, like I said, first of all, there are already 63 million enterprises that are yet to grow up. They're still in dwarf condition out there. Forget that slot of entrepreneurs which already exist. And if you have to talk about the upcoming entrepreneurs, the digitally reliant entrepreneurs, I think they are the one who will shape the economy of India from now onwards. Why I'm saying this is because right now in India we have so many programs from startup to stand up India. If you're an ST or an SC out there, wherein you get subsidized loans to start up. That didn't happen before. Now, if you say we have subsidized program for ST and SC entrepreneurs out there or women entrepreneurs out there up to 2 crore rupees. Now, starting a company with 2 crore rupees is also not a job. Now, coming to the part of entrepreneurial part, it depends on what area you really want to start up your business or whatever you have. And the future here is you need not think way too out of the box to go ahead in the market. If I have to give you a message today, if you can, however, look forward to connecting with the agriculture sector of India, that itself is enough to take you to the next level. Why I'm saying this is, even on this date in 2021, more than 76% of the Kirana stores are yet to go online.
Correct.
Imagine a startup that connects Kirana stores online, which Reliance is trying to their super app. They call it super app. Connect all the Kirana stores out there. That itself is going to be one of the big. It's an untapped, and it's some 23 trillion economy out there, which is never documented, which is never booked in files of any accounts out there. So if you have to think of same way in a similar fashion for the agriculture industry, that's where you need to think of starting up. Now, let me give an example of what's happening here in Meghalaya where I'm engaged right now. So the farmers here get approximately only 50% of the national cost of whatever they produce. Say if the black pepper cost was 650 rupees in the national rate, that's a government appropriate. The farmers here were paid only around 300 rupees. So we try to get in some youth entrepreneurs who would probably be interested to connect this to the direct market out there nationally. Because in most of the states, there is still no concept of mandi system in India. Like in whole Northeast, there is hardly some mandi system that's being in discussion right now. So as an budding entrepreneur, if you can somewhere somehow connect this gap of the big mass of people to the market, I think that's where you can tap on each and everything. I mean, agriculture is everything of today. You can think of innovating lot many things. You can introduce vertical farming or all that sort. And to start this, there are programs in each and every different areas. The subsidized program that I was talking about is uniform for any kind of business that you go for budding startups. But there are special programs if you go for agriculture, if you go for horti, if you go for fishery as well. So I think it's the right time. All you need to do is somewhere somehow, like think within the box. Like we all often hear think out of the box and then you'll be the star. But what I say is always think in the box. There are so many things in India that you can probably start and you can do anything out there. Now we see Ola and Uber coming up and they're taking money like anything. I mean, Ola is okay, it's an Indian company. But think about Uber. I had a study done here in Guwahati. Uber approximately earns around 97 lakhs per day from Guwahati itself. It's a small city. 97 lakhs, approximately 1 crore rupees. That is 50%. So why don't any Indian startup company say, I will give 50%? All of the 20,000, 20, 30,000 drivers will come and sign up with you. Economy will be stable. Indian will earn. Everything will be okay instead of sending money to all foreign good. That's the actual Atmanirbhar that we have, that we can probably go for. So that's all I can say. The central message I have for all the budding entrepreneurs is, think within the box. Try to find out what is missing somewhere. Yeah. And you need not go for something very innovative, like like augmented reality something or some artificial intelligence thing. Think within the box. There will be so many things near around you which can probably take you to the height. Like no one thought there will be a policy startup, but I started here in Northeast. So I think that's how we should think.
I think the Kirana store concept that you mentioned was really eye opener.
Hmm.
A lot of things to do that, And the second thing, what I really appreciate and agree, I mean, don't too much go for advanced thinking. Sometimes it's better to
Yeah,
have thinking within the box.
yeah.
All right. Uh, one question here. Sorry. India is into
Prop.
yes.
Yeah, Professor. Like before going for next question, now because you all are CA student, coming back to my Kirana store part, considering someone or the Reliance started connecting all the Kirana stores online, what CAs can do is why don't you start an exclusive CS service for this Kirana store? Try to bring them in the accounts of IT. It's a huge business untapped yet in market in India. A lot of the CA firms talk about some 100 crores of something. You can talk about 1 crore rupees business working with kids out there and think of revenue generation you will earn. And it's a big market. I mean, even if one player come in a day, you can still earn a lot. You can still do a lot for the people out there. So that is one CA students can think of in regards to this Kirana store. Yeah, Professor, go for next question.
Yes, yes. Uh, Interesting question again. India is involved into a lot of international trade activities, be it export and import. So a student asks here
Hmm.
is, won't the WTO, the World Trade Organization's guidelines, can act as an obstacle in the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat? That's the most relevant
No,
question.
not exactly, because yeah, not exactly, because WTO is not an autonomous body of itself. WTO has a lot to listen to even economy like us. So it's not, and the world is no more a polarized world wherein like some US or some Russia or someone just come in and say do this and do that, and then the WTO or any kind of such organizations will follow up. So if there is something which will come up is an hindrance to the economy of ours, there is something that India would prefer to. As of now, there is no such any kind of regulatory of WTO which is having hindrance for the economy, for our economy. In fact, there are a lot of things in our regulations that
Correct.
has to be reformed in order to go up and reach our Atmanir part. So I think WTO, to the extent of knowledge that I can search, no, WTO is none of the regulatory is a hindrance for Atmanirbhar.
Okay.
It's the regulations we have within country that probably
Perfect.
creating a lot of uh, noise out there.
Perfect. Uh, Here is a question on the education sector. What role the
Yeah,
education
yeah.
sector played in making India Atmanirbhar?
Yeah. First is we are having a class online. I'm in one of the corners of country.
Correct.
Professor is at somewhere. You all are at somewhere else. This is how education sector is helping in Atmanirbhar
Absolutely.
Bharat. Yeah. So thanks to Trisha that they have taken up digitalization at such successful scale. Because see, education sector, if we really have to talk about when India went Atmanirbhar. I mean, started to being Atmanirbhar. Forget about the campaign. When India started standing on itself during pandemic, it was the education sector that was most worried, and most of the universities were not capable and ready technologically to stand up and go forward with it. In fact, lot many respected scholars were still wondering what will happen to the youth of this country. Will they miss their 1 year, 2 year of their life in vain sitting at home? But no, but all of us, university one stakeholder, you students one stakeholder, government on the other hand stakeholder, all of us come together and we didn't surrender. So national scale, I think education sector helped. I cannot say it's the department or the ministry that helped. It's the whole group of the whole stakeholders of education that we talk about that have helped up India being Atmanirbhar. Now you didn't complain for the classes. You are probably happy to sit online classes rather than sitting in a classroom. So in that manner, also you're helping India being an Atmanirbhar. So, and ultimately, it's reaching up in a scale wherein we can say education sector is helping India being an Atmanirbhar. In fact, education sector is one of the probably the top three sectors which have become completely Atmanirbhar on these days. From having classes online to getting convocations online to having their exams online, all sorts of. Good question, yeah.
Right. A good question, plus at the same time, wonderfully put across your views. That's really great. In fact, the next question I wanted to ask this, but good that student has raised.
Yeah,
The
please.
biggest challenge of one particular sector of industry today in India is the logistics and supply chain, I think, which has to be drastically improved. Major turnaround strategy is required over here. What is your thoughts on
Yeah.
improvising this?
Okay. First of all, before improvising logistics and supply, uh, we all need to understand that the customer preferences have changed.
Correct.
Now, Amazon kind of multinational companies were the first one which introduced no physical contact delivery and all that stuff. So this is a micro scale logistic reformation or the kind of revolution that I have to talk about. Now, if you talk about the mass level logistics and supply, I think the technological readiness of the company is what will put up an answer to this question mark. The companies needs to be technologically savvy. Savvy not in the sense they should be capable enough to like go for an innovative ways of something like no physical contact delivery or something like that Amazon did. And what government can do relating with Atmanirbhar is probably fuse a lot of funds towards helping this kind of companies or the firms that will probably be like be in need of the government support or all that kind of. Now coming to this point also, there are a lot many schemes that individual states have introduced themselves. Like if we talk about Assam here, Assam has a special promotion act for logistics and supply, wherein they have said all of the logistic cost and supply and renovations that would be done by the companies out there will be beared by government. So if government is ready to bear the cost of the technological advancement in regards to logistic and supply, I think that itself solves a lot many things. All that companies or the different industries needs to do is they themselves need to come up and plan their future ahead. So I think that's how. I mean, things are already there. Like I already said, it's not that India is like so much unaware of many things.
True.
We engage with policies, so we get lot many things in a different mindset. I mean, what someone understand and what we understand is different. In
Correct.
regards to in regards to Indian policies, all I can say is, to be very honest, Indian government has everything for anything that you can think of. Just the thing is, people have somewhere lost the right way of approaching these things or a kind of viewing these things. And like I said, there is a huge section of I don't know, a confused liberal mindset citizens who keep on questioning on each and every aspects of government. So in order to be a healthy economy, I think somewhere somehow we need to go for a constructive criticism, but that itself has a limit to it. Like logistic and supply, it's a good question. And then there are already things that are happening here, but people don't try to see that part. And then only when government come and say this is already there, they will be saying, oh, and then end of discussion.
So I think there is also a beautiful project coming called as Sagarmala project, which the government is keenly
Yes,
working.
yes,
It's a fantastic project.
exactly.
As you said, people are not aware, and sometimes that what do you call that? Constructive criticism is not definitely is missing great time in India. Honestly, the questions are asked, the criticisms are made for the sake of being made.
Exactly, bro. That I was saying. Yeah. So this is
Okay.
so the central line or statement that I can put forward right now is I think India is currently in the crisis of right information being reached to the mass, and somewhere somehow probably government also need to intervene in that way, or probably citizens themselves needs to be coming up a bit more aware. Now we all have universities, but there are another kind of universities like WhatsApp universities, and even politicians go up to debate taking facts from WhatsApp universities. So I think that's somewhere where we need to really come up. to be really Atmanirbhar. I mean, government will launch lot many schemes. Government will come out with $1 million projects and campaign like this. But if people will not come up, then I think there is no Atmanirbhar. Because to be Atmanirbhar, first of all of us need to be Atmanirbhar. ऐसे नहीं होता है कि देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए पैसे फेंक या देश सडनली आत्मनिर्भर हो गया. सबको आत्मनिर्भर होना पड़ेगा पहले. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Once again, I wanted to ask this question again. Is at the right time put by one of the student also. Somebody is really
Yeah.
keen and interested in knowing about your place, about Assam, about Meghalaya, and also
Okay.
he wants to know whether the situation in Northeast is changing now in terms of the development, or you still feel it's being sidelined.
No, no, no. I'm a different. I belong to a different school of thought, which believes like Northeast is not facing any kind of as such because Northeast, to be practically speaking about, I'm born and brought up here. Northeast is something a part of country which is already self-reliant since so many years. The only thing is there are so many untapped resources out there which are yet to be explored. Coming to the developmental sector, we were first resilient country which have a special commission for that. So there is Northeast sector, there is a special ministry for that. So I think Northeast is not facing anything as such. The problem what we have here is somewhere somehow not politically, but somewhere somehow people from some other part of the country see us as different beings. So
Correct.
that's why I said it's not a government which is not seeing Northeast as such. It's the people itself like who try to see us in a different view. Now I have a beard, so people don't consider me as that typical Northeastern. But most of my Northeastern brothers do not have this kind of beard, or they have a face that is quite similar with China or or any kind of Mongolian races out there. So
Correct.
most of the time, it's the people who have a different prejudice, a prejudice that they belong to a different country or something like that. But no, Northeast is developing. I mean, it's not developing as that of Bangalore or Delhi, and I think it's very wrong to compare any region with any part of the country itself because all of the region has its own template. Today, we can't compare or expect Bangalore to be the New York of India. Bangalore should be Bangalore of India, and Northeast needs to be Northeast of India. We can't just put different template and say कि ये नहीं हो रहा है.
Correct.
Like for example, coming to the Atmanirbhar part, and then I think we can end it in that way. India do not have job problem. Now this can be a debatable topic, but I can claim and debate on that. And it's not only me. There is a huge school of people who believes this. India do not have job problem. The problem in India is the wage. MBAs from reputed institutes get payment of 25,000. That's where the problem is. Engineers from IITs had to do a job of call center. That's where the problem is. India do not have job problem. India has jobs and jobs and jobs coming out every day. It's a problem of wage. And to eradicate the problem of wage, we need to help this micro or middle scale entrepreneurs come up from dwarf condition to a big version. And to
Perfect.
make it happen, yeah, and to make it happen, now I'm summarizing the whole topic that I talked. To make it happen, we need to focus on reforming the regulations, the compliance universe that we have. None of the country, none of the country in the world have 69,000 compliances to follow. So I think that's where the problem is. And to be real Atmanirbhar Bharat, I think that's where our focus should be directed towards.
Great. Wow, Prithviraj, I mean, it was really wonderful interacting with you. And I definitely could say wholeheartedly that what expectations and what objective I had from this session is 100% met. This is the discussions and deliberations I wanted, and it was such a easy language you spoke. I initially thought, like, whether this topic is too, technical for the students, but then I really felt you spoke it so well. Everyone were able to, kind of understand the languages that you use, the term that you use. So I mean, it was really great because these are all just the first year students who have completed their 12th and have
Yeah.
joined here, and still, they were able to understand. And a lot of students out here have messaged me that probably whenever you are in Karnataka, you have to visit our campus once for
I would
face-to-face
love to.
interaction. They are all very eager to see you. And on behalf of Prithviraj, I already have committed them that, whenever sir is here in Bangalore or any nearby places, I will definitely get him to my campus. Is that so, Prithviraj? I hope to have your
I
acceptance.
would, I would love, I would love, I would love to, and I that it will be an honor to. As we end here, I'm still trying to be Atmanir, though I'm still trying to be Atmanir. I love interacting with people, seeing their faces. That's how I love interacting. And when professor said that in the first year, I was still thinking what kind of discussions should I go over. And I don't know how successful I have gone for that, but I try my best to come up to the level where you can probably understand. And I hope I answered most of the
Really wonderful. Absolutely, yes. And that's what I do have the feedback from all of them that, it went really well. So, on behalf of the entire the student fraternity of Trisha Group of Institutions, my management, my staffs, I extend a wholehearted thank you for Prithviraj Brahma for his wonderful interactive session on Atmanirbhar Bharat, a dream. What I would like to say here at the end is that we have taken the step. We have taken the step. We have a long way to go, and we'll make sure that as a country as a whole, as a citizen, we will make sure we are self-reliant. We actually implement this Atmanirbhar Bharat for the country's economic development. Thank you so much, students, for being a wonderful audience. As always, I look forward for similar more interactions in the coming days. Thank you very much, and have a great Sunday ahead. Thank you.